Elon Musk has just revealed a very simple way to solve a very long-fought human problem. He has proven the cure to one of the most stubborn human disorders has been already found by his Neuralink company. If you've heard about Elon Musk, then you must have heard about one of his companies, Neuralink, and its journey to merge humans and AI. Recently, Elon tweeted that he had found a cure to Parkinson's disease, and guess by using what? Well, by using electrodes that are wired to the brain. Isn't that amazing? Now imagine being healed from any type of physical disorder. We're talking about spinal cord injuries, blindness, involuntary body movements, and the fantasy of being able to control smart gadgets using your brain. But the question is, how far can Elon's Neuralink go in fully solving these human diseases? And how far has their technology come? Well, let's get into the details right away. Elon Musk's Neuralink has been doing so much in the background. Recently, a Twitter user uploaded a video with a comment, "Deep brain stimulation uses implanted electrodes and electrical stimulation to treat movement disorders associated with Parkinson's disease." And what is Parkinson's disease, you might ask? Well, it's a neurological disorder that causes involuntary or uncontrollable movements such as shaking, stiffness, and problems with balance and coordination, among many other symptoms. In the uploaded video, a guy by name Justin is seen eating cereal from a bowl for the first time in 7 years. Having been misdiagnosed with essential tremor, ET, and epilepsy for numerous years, he was ultimately diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2016 after years of suffering from the condition. Deep brain stimulation was performed on the 35-year-old to aid in improvement of his mobility after years of suffering from symptoms such as chronic tremors, which prohibited him from eating in public, participating in sports, or even cooking food. And to say the least, the results were profound. Elon Musk replied to Massimo's tweets by saying, "An amazing example of what implanted electrodes can do, even when there are only a few large wires. The work comes from Neuralink, a company founded by Elon Musk with the goal of developing a high-bandwidth implanted brain-computer interface, or BCI. Initial statements from Musk suggested that the goal was to enable quadriplegics to operate a computer or smartphone with their brains only. But Musk's ambition is considerably greater. He wants to enable humans to merge with artificial intelligence, resulting in their gaining superhuman intellect, a goal that was seen as more hype than an actual plan for new technological advancements. During a live-streamed event a few years back, Tesla's CEO stated that the goal was to record from and trigger signals called by spikes in neurons with an order of magnitude more bandwidth than had previously been achieved, while also ensuring that it was safe. Now, Musk's technology, which he demonstrated for the first time in the live-streamed event, was a long cry from his sci-fi fantasy. But even so, it was a huge step forward in technical development. The team claims to have built arrays with a couple of thousands of flexible electrodes that can be implanted in the cortex, or outer layer of the brain, using sewing machine-style device that was made possible by the employment of a surgical robot. In order to power the electrodes, custom-built integrated circuits housed in a small implanted device communicate with a USB port located outside of the brain, and the team hopes to ultimately make the port wireless. In addition, Neuralink intends to employ electrodes to write signals back into the brain, which would provide sensory feedback in the form of touch or visual stimulation of the retina in the case of someone who is blind. And by then, research with monkeys was underway at the University of California, Davis, and preliminary findings had been reported in a white paper released by the American Psychological Association. So why did Elon Musk respond to that Twitter user? Well, the fact that Justin never gave up after being misdiagnosed for years led to his driving almost 2 hours to a regional medical institution for a DT scan, which verified his diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. According to Justin, the majority of Parkinson's patients in their 30s and 40s have difficulties getting diagnosed. As a result, a patient may suffer from years of the wrong diagnosis, putting their health in danger significantly. But the fact that 1 in every 20 persons develops Parkinson's disease before the age of 40, argues Justin, leads him to be so forthright about his diagnosis because most people do not generally associate Parkinson's disease with younger folks. The cereal bowl clip was shot as part of his commitment to transparency, which includes posting images and films of his personal experiences on social media. Justin can be seen in the video, which was shot by his fiancée Emily Norris, attempting to eat from the bowl without the assistance of his deep brain stimulator, a device that assists patients with Parkinson's disease by delivering electrical stimulation to brain cells in order to increase communication between them. And as a result of his uncontrollable tremors, the 35-year-old was ultimately able to place the spoon into his mouth after multiple attempts and failed several times previously. Yet when Justin switched on the DPS as a demonstration of its merits, it quickly calmed him down and let him eat his meal without difficulty. Then what exactly is DBS and how has it impacted Justin's personal life? First and foremost, it is a surgical procedure in which electrodes are inserted into the patient's brain to provide stimulation. During the procedure, signals are sent to the electrodes by a portable device that interacts with the DBS device implanted in the patient's chest. Once the signal has been established, Justin may change the level of his DBS, as well as turn it on and off, as seen in the now viral video. And for Justin personally, the gadget is effective in controlling the tremors in his limbs. Justin has observed considerable improvements in his day-to-day life after having the surgery, and he describes it as life-changing because it enabled him to discontinue taking Parkinson's medication, which had previously required him to take up to 9 tablets each day. So don't be afraid to take on the challenge of rock climbing. You can also imagine yourself conducting a symphonic orchestra and still using superhuman eyesight to see the radar. And you can find out what awareness is made of and also restore sight and hearing to those who are unable to use them. At least, according to Elon Musk and his team at Neuralink, the electrical brain-computer interfaces would be employed in the stated instances and the range of other applications. So Musk appeared on YouTube with colleagues wearing black masks some time back to discuss the company's progress toward developing an inexpensive, reliable brain implant that he believed would be in high demand in the near future. In the following episode, Musk appeared with a more advanced version of the sewing robot, which was dressed in a sleek, white plastic helmet. According to Musk, billions of people will place their heads in surgical headgear in the future, allowing an automated saw to slice a circle of bone from their skulls and a robot to weave circuitry into their brains, allowing them to achieve various benefits, just as we're seeing with Justin, who has been cured of Parkinson's disease. The futuristic enclosure was designed by Vogue Company, a Vancouver-based industrial design studio, to build a space for what would be a deliberately conducted operation on the brain with all of the related risks. The project's primary designer says he wanted to create something clean, contemporary, and yet friendly feeling. Musk's Link, a disc containing computer chips the size of a silver dollar, was the most interesting discovery made in the field of neuroscientific research a year back, according to the researchers in the field. The Link is approximately the same thickness as a human skull, and Musk believes that it can be placed into the brain's surface through a drill hole and fixed with superglue to provide a permanent connection. And as Musk speculated, it will reach a point where people will be using Neuralink and no one will be aware of it. Musk is cautiously hopeful about Neuralink's capacity to restore complete physical capability to someone who has suffered a spinal cord injury after seeing the technology's promise in monkeys and tests such as those of Parkinson's disease. This is an opportunity to assist someone who has lost the ability to walk in their rehabilitation journey, and now deep brain stimulation may be used to treat people like Justin from Parkinson's disease. Let us know in the comments if you would be okay to test out Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip, and see you in the next videos.